If you want to take inexpensive fall decor items like these from good old Dollar Tree and turn them into something that looks like this, then keep on watching, guys. Today we're going to be making over items from Dollar Tree and turning them into something that's cheap but chic. Okay, guys, the first thing we're going to make over is this faux cutting board sign. I took it outside and gave it a coat of the Rust-Oleum chalk spray paint. I picked it up from Walmart. It was fairly inexpensive and it's a lot quicker than hand painting. The sign, of course, has glitter on it. You know, the blessed or the word blessed is glittered, but I didn't bother sanding it down because I'm going to cover it up. But I did want to give it a good coat of the spray paint to, I guess, camouflage the, I guess, faux finish that it had, because I wanted to kind of give it my own little touch. So after it dried, I brought it in and I took the other sign and kind of broke it down, if you will, and cut the sides off so I had just a flat surface to adhere to the cutting board. But first, I'm just gonna sort of age the sides, even though it was sort of aged looking before. I wanted to kind of add my own touch because it was sort of a print. You know, of course, it's paper that's been glued down on this cardboard backing or whatever, but I wanted to kind of add my own personal touch and, you know, sort of blend it the way I wanted it to. So I took some matte acrylic paint that I picked up from Walmart and just kind of mixed a couple colors and took a dry brush and went around the edges of the cutting board and just, you know, added my own little aging, if you will. And you can see this done tons of times, should I say, on other channels or whatever. But yeah, I'm kind of jumping on the bandwagon. But I knew when I saw these signs what I was gonna do when they first came out in Dollar Tree, and I went back to actually get some more, but they were sold out, so I'm glad I snatched them up when they first got them in. Right now I'm using some Gorilla Glue. I bought a little sample pack from somewhere. I can't remember where I got them from, but I think it was 3 little tubes in a package, and I'm using that. I'm trying to use up what I have, and I'm also using some hot glue to get a quick hold while the Gorilla Glue dries. But I wanted something that was gonna be, you know, really strong and hold nicely. So yeah, so I'm giving it a good press down and making sure that, you know, it grips to the board. And I'm going around the edges of the pecan pie sign to sort of blend it all together and make it look like one cohesive piece. But I love how these two look together. They looked a little, I guess, basic, but I mean, you're only paying $1.25 for each of them. But I wanted to kind of, like I said, kick it up a notch and make them look like something you would pick up from Hobby Lobby or Michael's or Joann's or something like that. So I'm just taking my finger and blending and just, you know, going around it. And there we go. So here's another version. This is the pumpkin pie one. And I'm going to do pretty much the same thing, except I'm not going to spray paint it. I wanted you guys to see what you could do without spray painting or adding paint. You could keep it as is and just do a little touch up. So yeah, you don't have to have spray paint. You don't have to have chalk paint to get the same look. So I wanted to, you know, give you an idea of what you could do, give you some inspiration. And this is how I deconstructed the sign. I just took a box cutter or a knife from Dollar Tree and cut the sides off. I kind of popped them apart. They're really easy to break apart. And I wanted a straight edge, so I used the ruler to help keep the knife straight and cut the sides off. And be careful doing this, guys. And pretty much everything that I'm using in today's video came from Dollar Tree, except for the paint. But they sell paint too, so it could be an all Dollar Tree project. So I've adhered the sign down, or the pumpkin pie sign down, to the cutting board. And right now I'm just kind of cleaning up the glue stick or the glue strings from the glue gun. And what I'm going to do is take some paint and touch up that little bit of an area where you can kind of still see the blessed glitter portion of the sign that's underneath. But I used some acrylic paint again that I got from Dollar Tree. Not from Dollar Tree, I'm sorry, but from Walmart, and just touching it a little bit up. It was just a little tiny bit, and then I'm just kind of touching up some areas that I felt like needed touching up. And now what I'm going to do is embellish. I'm taking some upholstery tacks and I'm going to add them to the four corners of the pie sign and make it look as though they were tacked down. I've already clipped off the ends, and I'm just showing you that I used some wire cutters to just do that. And I'm going to use that Gorilla Glue again, as well as some hot glue for a quick hold, and put those down. And this was, I think, the hardest part with making this sign, because they're so tiny and my fingers are huge and they were kind of rolling around and falling about, but I finally got them situated, and I'm pressing it in so that it kind of I don't know what the word I'm looking for, it kind of goes down into the sign, if you will. So it's flush, I guess, or I don't know. All I know is I'm pushing it into the sign. It's not just sitting on the surface, if that makes sense. Okay, so there we are. And what I did off camera was add some of the wooden beads that Dollar Tree came out with this year. They were stained and had a little gloss, as you can see here, and that just really took it over the top, and I love how they came out. So yeah, love that project. Okay, so the next project we're going to be working on is taking some of these images from these calendars and framing them and making them look a little better. So I picked that image out, but I ended up deciding on something else. Here I'm using a picture that I picked up from Fred's when I managed there. As they were closing, they were going to get rid of a lot of stuff by just throwing it in the dumpster. So we grabbed a lot of stuff that would have been thrown away, and I'm just recycling this picture. So I love the frame because it's whitewashed. It looks kind of farmhousey, boho-y, or whatever. I wasn't a fan of the image, so I knew when I, got the picture that I was going to upcycle it in some kind of way, just didn't know how. But today we're going to use the calendars again from Dollar Tree. That particular calendar I think was from 18 or 19, I'm not sure. It's an older calendar, but I ended up using one from this year, I believe, and or an image from one that came out this year. So yeah, this is a great way to do it. Right here, I'm just going to go around the perimeter of the existing image. It's like a printed image on cardboard, I think it is. I'm not sure. I didn't even bother to look. But I'm going around the perimeter with some matte paint to sort of give it a, border, I guess. I wouldn't call it, matting or, framing it out, so to speak. But yeah, just to cover up the previous image and then, give it sort of a nice, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say, y'all. I'm at a loss for words. Now, this is the original image, but I changed my mind and I wanted to use this one because I think it's a little more appropriate for the sign. And it's actually the cover of this one. And I think this is from this year. I can't remember, y'all, but I know it was from August. The month of August. But yeah, just go through your stash, or if you get a chance, pick up some of the calendars from Dollar Tree. You can do a lot with them. Now, what I'm doing now is taking one of the rulers from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to sort of tear the edge and give it a rough edge because I didn't like that straight edge that it had. And I'm just tearing just a little bit of the sides because the sign is already, or the calendar image is already a lot smaller than the frame itself. And I didn't want to take away too much of it. So if that makes sense. And forgive me if I'm congested, y'all. I don't know what's going on. This weather's crazy. It's hot, then it's cool. I don't know. But anyway, I'm using a regular old glue stick. Well, actually, it is my favorite glue stick, as a matter of fact. Avery. I love that glue stick. I like it a little better than the normal, school glue sticks or whatever. It's more of an adult glue stick, if you will. So yeah, it just works better to me, and it has a stronger hold. Dollar Tree used to have them, but they didn't get them in this year for the back to school season. I got this from, I think, Joann's. They had a 2-pack or something. But yeah, I like these, and I know Walmart sells it as well. No shade, Elmer's, but I love those glue sticks from Avery. All right, so now that we have our image adhered, I want to touch up that hole, for hanging the calendar. So I'm just mixing up a little satin paint that I had gotten from one of the craft stores. It was in my stash, and just sort of tapping my finger in it. I'm using satin because the image itself has a little sheen, and I didn't want to use matte so it'll stick out, versus the sort of satin sheen that the image has. You'll be able to see it. And here's what it looks like, all staged up. I love how it looks with those pumpkins from Dollar Tree. Really nice. And our final project today again includes one of the calendar images, but what we're going to do is dress it up a little bit with some gold gilding sheets. I picked up the adhesive on clearance for $1 from Michael's, and I got the gold gilding sheets from Hobby Lobby. And they're both, relatively inexpensive. I think the sheets were $3.99. And again, I picked up the adhesive for $1, but I think it's like $7 originally because I've seen it before in the craft stores. But I'm just adding it to the, I guess, gold or yellowy portions of the flowers on the calendar sheet that I chose, just to highlight it a little bit. And you'll see what I'm talking about once I add the gold gilding to it. It just makes it look a little better and adds a little dimension to the image. And this is a great way to, again, kick some items up a notch by adding a little gold touch to them. You can do this with pretty much anything. It's really easy to work with, and you'll love how things turn out. I've done this a lot with items around my house. You could also use like a gold gilding pen. It's like a sort of a paint pen or an ink pen, but I didn't want to do it that way. I kind of wanted to, use the sheets this time. It just seems like it would have been a better, or it is a better way to make this, look a little more high end without, I guess, warping the paper with more liquid, because the pen will be liquid, but you can still do it that way. Just be mindful of how you apply it. Now I'm taking a soft brush and just brushing away the excess. And don't throw it away. Just have a little Ziploc bag on the side, because you can reuse the little pieces that come off. They actually sell the pieces in the store as well, right next to the sheets. You can sprinkle it on stuff, or, really, you could use it on pretty much anything. So don't throw it away. Put it in a Ziploc bag and save it for another project. Here I'm going over the places that I missed with a little more adhesive, and then I'm going to put some more of the gilding down just to cover up those little spots. And this was a super relaxing and fun project to do. And I thought about just going through the calendars, because I have a huge stash of these calendars. I'm just going through and doing the same thing with like silver gilt, because they sell the silver sheets, copper. They had several colors, but I got the gold. I actually have all, I think I have silver, the gold, the copper, and there was one that was kind of sort of a burgundy red that I had picked up a while ago. I haven't seen that one, but you can pick up different colors. But I thought about going through all my calendars and kind of just doing this, one afternoon when I was bored, and framing them out and like putting them in my Etsy shop or in my resale booth. And I may do that. But yeah, I love how this turned out. Now what we're going to do is pop the image into this frame, again from Dollar Tree, perfect size for it. And we're going to actually embellish the frame as well with the gilding sheets. I took out all the innards and sort of reversed them. The little paper that comes with it, I turned it over so that the white backing would face the calendar, as you can see there, so that you can't see the hole or see through the hole once you put the calendar sheet in. And I'm just popping it back into the frame. And be careful with these, because those little tabs to hold the backing in sometimes pops out. They're cheap, but that's why we're kicking it up a notch, y'all. Gotta sound like Emerald. But anyway, I'm adding some more of the adhesive, and I probably should have done this before I put the glass and everything back in, but I'm just using a sheet of paper to keep the adhesive from getting on the glass. But in hindsight, I should have just left the glass out and did this. But I didn't. And now I'm adding the gold gilding to it. And again, it's super easy to work with. You do want to let it dry, the adhesive, a little bit till it gets tacky. I didn't. I was impatient. It still works, but it'll work a little better if you just let it get a little bit tacky. You won't have the issue of the gilding sticking to your fingers, but I had a piece of paper towel that you can't see, and I would occasionally like wipe my finger off so that the adhesive that did get on my hand wouldn't stick to the gilding. But just kind of keep that in mind. You're supposed to let the adhesive get a little tacky, and you don't have to have that adhesive. You can actually use the Aleene's tacky glue that you can find in Walmart. You can actually use regular old school glue. Just let it get a little bit tacky, like I said, and you can do the same thing. Now I'm taking the soft bristle brush again and brushing off the excess, and I'm not trying to be super neat with it. I kind of want it to look like it's been on there for years and worn. It kind of goes with the, I guess, the aesthetic and the look that I was going for. So yeah, super easy. And y'all, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Share the video so that others may see it. And yeah, here it is, all finished. And I love how it looks when the light hits it. So cool. Well, that's going to do it. And until my next video, I will see y'all then. Bye.